Page number 98. How Fa Xian returned to China. Fa Xian began his journey back home from Bengal. He boarded a ship belonging to some merchants. They had barely travelled for 2 days when they were caught in a storm. The merchants began throwing their merchandise overboard so as to lighten the load and save the ship from sinking. Fa Xian threw away his meager personal belongings, but clung to his books and statues of the Buddha that he had collected. Finally, the storm subsided after 13 days. This is how he describes the sea. The sea itself is boundless in extent. It is impossible to know east or west, except by observing the sun, moon, or stars in their motions. If it is dark, rainy weather, the only plan is to steer by the wind. It took him more than 90 days to reach Java, where he halted for 5 months. Before boarding another merchant ship that took him to China. Try and trace the route Fa Xian took on map 6, page 77. Why do you think he did not want to throw away his books and statues? Xuanzang, who took the land route back to China, through the northwest and central Asia, carried back with him statues of the Buddha made of gold, silver, and sandalwood, and over 600 manuscripts loaded on the backs of 20 horses. Over 50 manuscripts were lost when the boat on which he was crossing the Indus capsized. He spent the rest of his life translating the remaining manuscripts from Sanskrit into Chinese. Nalanda, a unique center of Buddhist learning. Xuanzang and other pilgrims spent time studying in Nalanda, Bihar, the most famous Buddhist monastery of the period. This is how he describes it. The teachers are men of the highest ability and talent. They follow the teachings of the Buddha in all sincerity. The rules of the monastery are strict and everyone has to follow them. Discussions are held throughout the day, and the old and the young mutually help one another. Learned men from different cities come here to settle their doubts. The gatekeeper asks new entrants difficult questions. They are allowed to enter only after they have been able to answer these. 7 or 8 out of every 10 are not able to answer. List the reasons why Ch-9 wanted to study in Nalanda. Page number 99. The beginning of Bhakti. This was also the time when the worship of certain deities, which became a central feature of later Hinduism, gained in importance. These deities included Shiva, Vishnu, and goddesses such as Durga. These deities were worshipped through bhakti, an idea that became very popular at this time. Bhakti is generally understood as a person's devotion to his or her chosen deity. Anybody, whether rich or poor, belonging to the so-called high or low castes, man or woman, could follow the path of bhakti. The idea of bhakti is present in the Bhagavad Gita, a sacred book of the Hindus. Which is included in the Mahabharata. See chapter 11. In this, Krishna, the god, asks Arjun, his devotee and friend, to abandon all dharma and take refuge in him, as only he can set Arjun free from every evil. This form of worship gradually spread to different parts of the country. Those who followed the system of bhakti emphasized devotion and individual worship of a god or goddess, rather than the performance of elaborate sacrifices. According to this system of belief, if a devotee worships the chosen deity with a pure heart, the deity will appear in the form in which he or she may desire. So, the deity could be thought of as a human being, lion, tree, or any other form. Once this idea gained acceptance, artists made beautiful images of these deities. On this page, a picture is shown. It's the picture of Vishnu as Varaha, an image from Eran, Madhya Pradesh. This magnificent statue is of a special form of Vishnu, the Varaha or boar. According to Puranas, see chapter 11, Vishnu took the shape of a boar in order to rescue the earth, which had sunk into water. Here the earth is shown as a woman. Page number 100. Bhakti. Bhakti comes from the Sanskrit term bhaj, meaning to divide or share. This suggests an intimate two-way relationship between the deity and the devotee. Bhakti is directed towards Bhagavat, which is often translated as God, but also means one who possesses and shares bhag, literally good fortune or bliss. The devotee known as the Bhakt or the Bhagavat shares his or her chosen deity's bhag. A poem by a Bhakt. Most bhakti literature tells us that riches, learning and high status do not automatically ensure a close relationship with the deity. This is part of a poem composed in Tamil by Appar, a devotee of Shiva, who lived about 1400 years ago. Appar was a Villal. Check chapter number 8, the leper with rotting limbs. The man who is regarded as low by the Brahmin, even the scavenger. Even these men, if they are servants, that is, devotees, of him who shelters the Ganga in his long hair, that is, Shiva, I worship them. They are gods to me. What does the poet regard as more valuable, social status or devotion? Because the deities were special, these images of deity were often placed within special homes, places that we describe as temples. You will learn more about these temples in chapter 11. Bhakti inspired some of the best expressions in art, sculpture, poetry, and architecture. Hindu. The word Hindu, like the term India, is derived from the river Indus. It was used by Arabs and Iranians to refer to people who lived to the east of the river and to their cultural practices, including religious beliefs. Page number 101. Elsewhere. About 2000 years ago, Christianity emerged in West Asia. Jesus Christ was born in Bethlehem, which was then part of the Roman Empire. Christ's teaching was that he was the savior of the world. He also taught people to treat others with love and trust others, just as they themselves wanted to be treated. Here are a few verses from the Bible, the holy book that contains the teachings of Christ. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God. Christ's teachings appealed to ordinary people and spread through West Asia, Africa, and Europe. The first Christian preachers came from West Asia to the west coast of the subcontinent within 100 years of Christ's death. Look at map 6, pages 76, and 77. Trace out the route that they may have used. The Christians of Kerala, known as Syrian Christians because they probably came from West Asia, are amongst the oldest Christian communities in the world. Imagine you have a manuscript which a Chinese pilgrim would like to carry back with him. Describe your conversation. Let's recall. 1. Match the following. Movindar. Lords of the Dakshin Path. Ashwaghosh. Bodhisattva. Shwen Sang. Mahayana Buddhism. Buddha Charit. Satvahan rulers. Chinese pilgrim. Cholas, Cheras, and Pandyas. Keywords: trader, Movindar, route, silk, Kushan, Mahayan, Thervad, Bodhisattva, pilgrim, Bhakti. Page number 102. 2. Why did kings want to control the Silk Route? 3. What kinds of evidence do historians use to find out about trade and trade routes? 4. What were the main features of Bhakti? Let's discuss. 5. Discuss the reasons why the Chinese pilgrims came to India. 6. Why do you think ordinary people were attracted to Bhakti? Let's do. 7. List 5 things that you buy from the market. Which of these are made in the city or village in which you live, and which are brought by traders from other areas? 8. There are several major pilgrimages performed by people in India today. Find out about any one of them and write a short description. Hint: who can go on the pilgrimage? Men, women, or children? How long does it take? How do people travel? What do they take with them? What do they do when they reach the holy place? Do they bring anything back with them? Some important dates. Discovery of silk making about 7,000 years ago. The Cholas, Cheras and Pandyas about 2,300 years ago. Growing demand for silk in the Roman Empire about 2,000 years ago. Kanishk, the Kushan ruler, about 1,900 years ago. Fashian comes to India about 1,600 years ago. Xuanzang comes to India. Appar composes devotional poems in praise of Shiva about 1,400 years ago.